In multiple forms of media, the medieval torch has always been something that really interested people, whether they be just fantasy nerds or semi-interested in history. The torch itself has kind of gained a form of its own mythology, however. More often than not, you see someone just take a random bit of cloth or nearly anything, wrap it around any stick, and it just burns as easily as this. The torch can be something that it may only light up a small area to an entire room, and this in itself is not entirely true, as the torches we often see throughout media are made in such a way they just could not physically work. So I made it my mission this time to see if I can make a torch actually work. The first thing I did was address the length of the handle. More often than not, you see a torch with only a foot handle and held at eye level. At this point, I cannot even see my camera in front of me. I can not even make anything out 10 feet in front of me. I am completely blinded as the light is right in my face. So the first thing I addressed was handle length. I made the handle long enough to where I can hold it above my head. From here, I can actually see the entire radius of the ground around me and actually make out the surroundings quite well. The trees behind me, I can actually see them, whereas holding it low, where we often see in media, I cannot see those, period. I am completely blind. I see nothing. This is stupid. Why would you hold a torch at this height in front of your face? More often than not, this is done in media only so that you can get the cool fire effect of it in front of you. So you don't have, hey, quiet on set. You don't have the cool effect if it's held too high above the head. However, this is the more practical length to hold it. We see in certain different medieval iconography what we know to be torches or extremely large candles. It is difficult to tell exactly what they are due to the quality of the iconography. However, they are held at a very high point above the head to where they can be seen. This torch I made from wrapped hemp, something similar to a form of material that would have been used at the time period that I am trying to imagine. Hemp would have been something similar used to what had been used in the past for making cord and rope. Multiple different methods such as flax and even tree bark was used to make cord, and hemp in itself being a natural material and easily attained and turned into twine and rope would be something very similar to the material they would have been using then. I then dipped it in a oil that I then was able to use to soak it for about a week to get my burn material so that it burns longer than just quickly burning out or not burning at all because of the nature of the material. I have actually tried this before at an earlier date. However, I ran into two problems. One, the audio did not get captured during the video, and the second problem was the handle I had built for the torch was raw wood. The fire on the torch itself ended up burning through the wood of the handle long before it burnt through the head of the torch, causing it to fall off. In one of my shorts that I made in the past, you actually see it laying on the ground when it broke off. That was not done on purpose. That was purely accident. So what I did there was I made a metal tube to which I then drove over the end of my handle with about 3 inches sticking out of the bottom so it does not burn off right where the torch is sitting. It will burn my burn material, but not the handle now. Now that we have an effective torch, we're gonna go on a little walk to kind of get an idea of how well they work. So we're gonna get that started. So as I'm walking, I can quite clearly see the dog in front of me, whereas if I was holding it in my face, I actually cannot see him. It's no wonder in the movies they never see the wolves coming. Holding it above my head, however, I see him quite well. I can see the fencing around me, along with quite a few trees in front of me. The view actually is not bad at all. There's a fir tree right there, probably 20 to 25 feet in front of me. That I can see clearly, and I can see a little bit past it quite well. The dog wandering around, I can actually still see her. I don't know if she'll be showing up in the camera, but she shows up quite clearly, along with this little runt. For the most part, I do not think that this is actually a bad idea of a simple torch made out of a more natural fibrous material by using the hemp. We'll see how the cotton one works, which would be similar to certain materials of the time. Cotton in itself was not an existing material due to how hard it was to make. However, there were other fibrous materials of a natural kind that they were using that were very similar, like linen. If you make your own torch, similar to the way I did, something you might consider is how do you extinguish it, because they actually burn for a surprisingly long time. So I ran and grabbed a wet rag. What you do, take it and just wrap the whole of the torch. Plenty of water, and it won't damage it, won't nothing. It just extinguishes the oxygen from the fuel source. So the cotton torch is already proving to be a little easier to light by comparison to the hemp torch. For both of these, I bought 100-foot worth of cord in similar diameter and wrapped all of the cotton cord around to get the massive ball I have for the ball of the torch. Whereas the hemp, I was not able to actually use it all. It ended up being a little bulkier and did not stretch as easily. Already, the cotton torch actually almost seems like it might be burning brighter. I'm not entirely certain. It could just be my eyes adjusting again, but I actually see a much further area around myself. So we're gonna go for a short walk with this one as well to see what we can see, and we'll go from there. So I actually do believe the cotton torch is much brighter than the hemp torch. The cotton fibers burn a little more naturally than hemp and a little more quickly, bringing a little more brightness. So we're gonna go for a walk and see what all we can see. I can actually see the dog out there, probably about 45 feet away from me. I just barely see the lighter colors and tan colors of her fur. Come, come. If you can see her approaching, you might get an idea of how well the light reaches. I think I might be able to even see the tree line out there, like the actual edge, not just from the reflection of moonlight. The trees around me I can see much more clearly, so definitely the cotton is brighter and burns a little better. So we're gonna do the eye test kind of like before. Holding it in front of my face at about the same height as I did the other one, I can see nothing. I am 100% blind. So more than likely, this one is probably brighter. So far, the cotton torch is actually proving to be the much more effective one to work with. And by being more effective, it's probably proving to be a more likely method of making a torch if you were to build one in a more fantasy style of just wrapping material around a stick. I would honestly say that a linen cord similar to a hempen cord would work just as well for a burn, or linen cloth like I did on my very first version of a torch, which I did have some linen I wrapped around the stick, and that was the one that actually burnt off and fell off. That one burnt quite brightly and well, and it did not even take that much fabric. I think it was a 15-foot runner that was only 10 inches wide that I folded into thirds and carefully wrapped around the cord, or the handle, and tacked it in. But because it didn't have the steel shield like this one, it ended up burning off of the stick to where I was not able to use it anymore. This one, because of the steel shroud I put on it, it will keep burning on the end of the stick until all my material is burnt out. When the one did fall off and it sat on the ground, it burnt all the way through, even down to burning the stick that was inside of it. So there was nothing left, just a little bit of ash. As I come closer, the camera will probably have an issue focusing from the brightness, as it's not able to quite figure out what's going on for the computer inside. I can very clearly see the details of my cameraman's face, and I'm able to very easily see that if I was a town guard walking around, patrolling a village, the torch in itself would clearly light up my area, and I could see who the strangers were around me. The common trope of it within fantasy novels and stories of someone being hidden because of the dim torchlight would, at this point, be proven incorrect. This is almost as bright as shining a flashlight on someone's face. So the cotton torch finally went out. It had been burning about 45 minutes, and all that's left now is just smoldering embers. Those will probably keep burning until there's nothing left, but flame-wise, it lasted a good 45 minutes for that brightness of flame. Hey buddy, it's okay. The evil is gone. You did good. You defended me from the evil. Good boy. I am honestly very surprised. I was not expecting it to work this well, and I'm quite happy, as he's happy as well to be here. He's just a happy boy. I'm quite pleased with the results, and hopefully those of you watching actually can use this for your own reenactment or even SCA camps. If you want to have someone on patrol, it's extremely simple to make and honestly a lot of fun. So something I tried relighting the hemp torch. It's trying to burn, but not very well. And that made me realize the hemp doesn't actually want to hold it doesn't soak up the oil and the fuel I used for burning like the cotton did. So the cotton probably outperforms it in that way as well, because that's all it's wanting to do to burn for the hemp. Right side is, they aren't easy to just put out. Hey, calm down. You don't want to burn your tongue. Although the hemp one did go out quite easily after swinging it like that. But thank you for watching. Take care. Let me know what you want to see next in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.